People have been asking me if I still build Redemption first on Janna even after the nerfs in 25.19, and I still do. This is the build that I run on Janna majority of the time, which is the most common area page with 3 points into W with Emax. I think Glacial is also still really good, and I will run this page if I have an auto-based AD carry and I'm playing into a hard lane. Yo, what's up guys? Today's commentary is a Janna commentary. I think this was a pretty good game where I highlight just my matchup knowledge and how aggressive you can play in lane. I think that Janna is a very hard lane bully. I think she's one of the best because of her reliability of disengaging and because her kit is just very damage oriented, with her passive being that your autos and W scales with your movement speed. As always, we'll start with the draft. We had Yunara first pick, and then the enemy picked Rakan Tristana. My team picked Ornn, and then I picked Janna. Here I was just strictly looking at the bot lane matchup, more so for Rakan. Janna is really good into Rakan because she can just disengage Rakan because his range is really short. Janna into Tristana is like kind of okay. It's hard to cancel her jump with your Q because smart Tristanas will not jump on top of you. They'll jump on a side of you because they'll know that you're going to look to cancel her W, and if you miss your Q on her W, you just kind of die. So it is kind of like a 50-50, but I do think that it is still slightly favored towards Janna once you are level 6 because you can just ult her away. For the rest of the comp, Janna is pretty good into Zed. Udyr is kind of a skill matchup. You kind of need to watch out for him being unstoppable, and kind of same with Gwen. You need to watch out for her. Gwen is immune, the little box thing. Overall, this is a pretty good Janna comp. I think that into a melee heavy comp, Janna does really well. She's really bad into range champs just because she can't peel. Overall, Janna right now is just very strong. I think that even though she's not that great of a blind pick, she's just super strong that you can kind of blind pick her. And honestly, every season, Janna's just very strong because she's not played in pro, but she's just a great champion. Okay, so loading in the game now. This is a Masters game. I am Emerald 1 on this account. We go for a little invade, but nothing really happens, and then we walk back to lane. I don't really know what happens here, but we end up seeing Zed. Zed just kind of like face checks us, and then we get a kill. So just off the bat, we're up a kill, always nice. In this matchup, so Yunara, Janna into Tristana, Rakan. I went sweeper here because I know I'm going to be playing super aggressive. Into most melee matchups, Janna should be playing just very forward. Always play for level 2. The thing with Rakan is that Rakan level 1 is actually not strong at all. If Rakan looks to... Yeah, okay. By the way, that was so bad, but I promise you this is a good VOD. I W the minion, but it's fine. I have to acknowledge it. Whatever. Level 1, Rakan's actually not that strong of a champion. You don't have to really be afraid of his W because after he Ws, he's like super useless. And I find that if Rakan Ws early level 1, then he ends up losing the trade because he has to walk back and he has nothing. I'm playing super aggressively here, but yeah, Rakan W's in, but just like that, we're already ahead. This is a confidence, honestly a matchup thing. I think that if you kind of know that Rakan is weak level 1, you should not be afraid and just play super forward like this. So we are we are definitely ahead in this lane already because we are playing super aggressively. That was a very good Q by Rakan. And essentially what this matchup turns into is that I'm looking to W the enemy, and then Rakan is looking to Q me as I walk forward, right? So the way to play this matchup, Janna into Rakan, is to bait out Rakan Q before moving in. I step out of the bush, I W, I walk back in. I am at this point, this is the 4th wave. You get level 3 on the 3rd melee minion in the counter wave, so I'm pushing very aggressively here. Rakan gets a W. I not able to Q Tristana in time, but we hit level 3, and I just kind of bait Tristana using the bush vision tech, and we get the double kill, and essentially lane is just won. So how do we win lane? Playing aggressive super early, and then people know about the level 2 spike, but a lot of people don't play around the level 3 spike. And because I knew about the level 3 spike, I was okay with playing super aggressively there because I knew that we were going to hit it first. And so just like that, we win the lane. I promise you, like, if you are very good about playing your level 2 and level 3 spike of just like knowing what minions give you those levels, then you will win lane just strictly off that. So I walk mid here because we push out bot and Zoe is very low. I want to make sure she's able to get her wave, and then I'm kind of just like poking out Rakan as well. Get the minion there. I know Rakan's most likely walking parallel with me, so I'm just kind of like walking with him. And I know like on this reset we are strong, so I can pretty much take like any trade. It doesn't matter if it's like super bad because yeah, like I'm just super strong, right? We can just walk up here. Like I would say this is a pretty bad trade normally, but yeah, like I said, because we are ahead, I can just go for it. So this is a small thing. This is a very subtle moment, right? But I'm juking. I'm basically trying to bait out Rakan Q, and I'm like kind of shimmying left and right. This movement is what's going to make you cracked at League. Just being really comfortable, trying to bait out abilities. When you combine this with your the vision in a bush, that's when you will win more on enchanters. Okay, so here we saw that Tristana backed, so we go for the dive on Rakan. I'm okay with taking this and honestly dying for it. Unfortunately, Udyr was here, so it's not as worth, but I think it's still fine to take that trade. We were really close to going out. Udyr flashes on me and then I die, but yeah, I'm okay with taking trades like that, like most of the time, because it just puts us, it's more worth it for us than them because the enemy loses a wave and we don't because we farmed the wave, pushed it in, and yeah, unfortunately it was Rakan instead of Tristana, but I think it was still worth. So I walk straight down here. I know that we're super strong. I think I actually could have walked mid from base here, but yeah, I kind of just autopilot walked down here. I didn't pan my camera mid to see what was going on. I think I probably could have saved Zoe, but yeah, now that I'm watching the VOD, it's like, oops, kind of just autopiloted. But it's fine. Yunara is very strong. We're freezing the wave. I'm walking out of the bush, Wing, walking back in, just being a menace. Trying to freeze this wave because we are strong, but enemy pushes it out. I see that Udyr is top, so that signals me that we can just play aggressive without worrying about getting ganked. That's like a one thing that you should be thinking about, like, or one thing that it's like a flowchart, right? Where if you see enemy jungle is top side and you are strong bot side, then you can just play as aggressively as possible. So I'm playing the bush here. Again, look how forward I am in my position. This is what's going to make you... this is what's going to win you lanes as an enchanter. Just playing the third bush, not being afraid, walking out, Wing, getting the Rakan Q, autoing again, dropping the vision from... dropping the aggro from the minions by walking into the bush, and just really, like, having a lot of pressure in lane. I'm going to ward try here because I do see Udyr's top. I am a little worried. I don't think I'll have another window anytime soon, so I just push forward here. Grubs are up in 5. I definitely could have played the Grubs here, but I believe Ornn is very behind, and also I'm like really close to Boots of Swiftness, so I didn't want to wait that long. We push in this wave. Rakan gets a nice Q. I wanted to push and play for this plate. It's like 2 autos, but my Yunara wants to back, which is okay. I have the 700 gold to get Boots of Swiftness, and once you have Boots of Swiftness and Dark Seal on Janna, you are just so strong. Your autos and W's just do so much damage. Oh, I guess like another thing that makes a Janna player great is just autoing a lot. Being really smooth with your kiting is very important on Janna. And honestly, most enchanters, but more so Janna, you get more payout for being good mechanically because your damage does scale, because your autos scales with your movement speed. So I walk mid here on base because we push in the wave, and then Udyr is trying to look for me on the rotation. This is a pretty common place where a lot of players will throw. Starting mid, like they'll do a good job at roaming, starting mid and then going down, but you need to be careful as you are walking down. So I'm respecting the Udyr, and so I take the long way. Looking back here, I should have warded for Zoe, like her middle bot bush, but I don't. I try to get a Q here. I was so close, not able to get it, just like a pixel off. That's one way of playing Janna aggressively. So Janna, she's not, it's really hard to get an aggressive tornado or an aggressive engage. She's more known for her disengage, but you can look for angles out of fog, just like the way I did it, where I Q out of vision and then try to get them to walk into it. So we're getting pinged off here. Zed goes for a gank. I instantly ult him away, and then I flash out. That was... yeah, that definitely could have been avoided if we just respected it, but we kind of reacted a little bit too late. But that's okay. We lived. Have a sweeper for this ward. Still looking to play aggressive. I am a little... even though I don't have ult, I'm still playing super aggressive. Just because we are still so ahead. I'm looking to push this wave and then look for reset. So yeah, we see Zed trying to go for a invade. I want to look more here. I think that Tristana probably thinks we're resetting, so Tristana jumps out and Rakan jumps in. That's a feels bad. We are able to almost get them here. I can't face check this. I need to be very careful. Tristana has Hob, and yeah, we need to kind of respect that, so I back off. And yeah, now we want to recall here. Very good time to recall. Oh, one thing, I was coaching... Oh, I thought I could get a Q here. I actually do get the Q, but it's just... she lives with 100 HP. One thing that I realized... One trend I realized as I was coaching a lot of players is that learning to know when to recall is a very important skill to have. So I find that people either recall at very random times or they tend to overstay. And yeah, learning when you should go back and when you shouldn't is a very big skill that translates to a lot of leads or just like throwing or being really behind. And so what you want to look for when you are looking to recall is your wave state and like how much gold you have. So a lot of the times... okay, so this is actually really important. This is actually really important. The sequence of events of how I played this. So Zed comes flanks me, right? I Q behind me. This is a small little trick you can do on Janna. You can Q the direction you're running, so your Q charges and it will be... the knockup and speed will be a lot longer and faster. And then after he's airborne, I make sure to ult Zed away immediately so he can't I chain it with the CC of the airborne. I chain it with the knockback, and then I immediately dip because this way Zed can't press any buttons in this entire sequence, and I know Zed probably has ult. So I go out, I put the ward in, Zed flashes, I know he's looking to ult me. Graves, this is disgusting by the way. Zed is doing no damage to Graves. I don't even know, like, that is so disturbing. Graves has his passive fully stacked, and so he just takes the Zed ult with my shield and is just chilling. I don't know. That was like, when I saw that, I was like, wow, Graves is OP. So anyways, yeah, that's like a champion specific interaction, I guess. But learn to Q the way you're walking. You'll get a lot more out of the knockup as opposed to just tapping it in their direction. Here I drop wards in the river, and then I want to go back here. I have a Kindle Gem. Generally, you don't want to stay on the map for very long if you don't have wards. Zoe overextends, she gets jumped on. Unfortunately, they are able to get Zoe. I stay mid here to catch this wave and to deny first tower. Graves pushes topside, so I am just walking with him. I am very aware that I'm parallel with Tristana and Rakan, so I'm playing a little bit safe. Tristana flanks from behind. Ornn is on the way. Unfortunately, Graves goes down. Here, Tristana's very low. I see that she is splitting. So I know that I can 1v1 her in this situation. But I peek at Ornn to see how he's doing. And then right as that kind of happens, Tristana jumps on me. Which really sucks because if I cancel Tristana... The only way I lose that is if I don't cancel Tristana W. But yeah, I knew for sure I was going to win the 1v1. But yeah, I fumbled that pretty bad. My fault, obviously, looking at Ornn. I think it's fine for Ornn to split 1v2 and me to fight Tristana 1v1, but yeah, I was caught lacking. Unfortunately, I did miss the Q. Anyways, we after I die, I start mid. We're transitioning into the mid game. Bot tower fell, and the goal is, or the plan is to help Yunara push out mid and then go to whatever side the objective is on. So here I could play for Grubs, but Graves is already bot side, so we are playing for the dragon. I'm sweeping the river. Warding Sea Bush, always important to ward it when you are taking dragon. I tried to look for Zed, but we aren't able to find him. He walks away. I do get a nice little WQ here. We aren't able to hit the ZE. I think we are overstaying a little bit. Tristana is mid. So we had initial good tempo by pushing out mid, but we needed to kind of walk back to farm the tower, farm the minions, and then deny Tristana this tower. I was thinking of ulting Tristana here to cancel her jump, but I just didn't really have the angle for it. I go for the tap Q. I'm autoing a lot. This gets really scuffed with Gwen coming. Couldn't really connect with Yunara there. And so she goes down. I'm still hovering the area. I want to walk with Graves here to clean up if they are overstaying. Tristana goes for a jump here. I don't actually E myself. I'm okay with using it on Graves. I tap them out so Graves can dip. And I'm playing with Gwen. So one important thing here, if you are playing Janna, is that you should be starting the fights with E. Because your E goes on cooldown when you CC the enemy. I think I literally just W'd before, but yeah. And that was a mistake on my end. I accidentally autoed Udyr as he was falling asleep. I thought I could sneak one in before, but that was not the case. I get a flash Q here, which makes the Zoe, Sleep, connect, and we are able to clean up as they overstay. So one tech that you can do on Janna, the only way you could really hard engage on Janna is, well, actually there's two ways, but one of them is going for the flash Q like I did there. That catches a lot of people off guard and it's like pretty hard to react to. So flash double Q is very good. The other way is fishing for Qs outside of vision, but that's also that one is very unreliable and you don't want to do it too much just because tornado costs a lot of mana. Here I am setting up for the next objective, which is Herald. Warding pretty deep on their side because we are ahead. I realized as I was coaching, I don't really explain too much about how I coach, or sorry, how I ward. And warding is really dependent on if your team is ahead or behind. So you can see I'm placing an aggressive ward on the top side, but I'm placing a defensive ward on bot side for two reasons. One, bot side, we're not going to be fighting because the objective is... There's no objective there. Next objective is Dragon at 2 minutes, but we're going to be playing Herald side. And two, Ornn is really behind. So Gwen is going to be able to push out bot and then rotate mid, which is why it's good to have a defensive ward in that side. The enemy kind of... Yeah, Rakan goes in and isn't able to E out. And we kind of just clean them up here. Zed is doing good damage, but it's not enough to rip through my shields. I'm already really strong. Once you have redemption, I went 4 points W here, but I have 4 points in E, and I just already am scaled into the game because of my items. So I go bot here to try to defend the bot tower for Gwen. Bot tower is, I can't emphasize this enough, like so important to defend because it gives so much gold. I know that I can actually 1v1 Gwen here and just kite her. This is what I mean by being like very comfortable with kiting, very good mechanically. I'm trying to give it to Zoe, but Gwen is just running for her life. So I get the tap tornado and Zoe is able to get the kill. After the kill, Otacon and Dragon are up. I see that they are on Otacon. I'm running parallel with Rakan here, which is like really weird. I don't know why Rakan is bot side, even though their team is doing Otacon. So I'm sprinting over. I want Yunara to walk up and fight, and we are just able to rotate in time and get the Otacon. So I want to look to dive here. Tristana flashes my Q, but it's not enough. And then we need to keep pushing forward. Playing for that tier 2 tower. I'm trying to get like a Q angle here. This is like a really good setup to go for Qs. You basically you Q from fog, you run towards them so they get scared and walk behind you, and then you place your tornado in a way where it kind of like cuts off the way that they're walking. That's how I did get the Q on Zed, but we decided to back off here. Our Graves is so strong. We basically one-shot Rakan, just punish him for walking up, and then we just are able to pick off Zed. So their kind of like whole game plan is falling apart. At games like these, it's important to like slow down if you're the enemy team. This happens pretty frequently in solo queue, I would say, where it's like one bad thing happens and then there's like chain inting, but it's just because you're just running in, trying to like, if you're a support, like I get why Rakan does it because he wants to give vision, but you need to just like slow down. Sometimes in games when you're behind, you need to just like wait for your team to be up and walk with you. You won't, you'll see it sometimes. I should probably point that out in games where that happens, but you know, if you are ahead, a lot of the times you want to use your tempo, but if you are behind, you need to like just chill. I tried to put a ward on the blast cone so Rakan can't hit it, but unfortunately he is able to hit it. Rakan just went too deep, died again. Pretty common thing for Rakan players. They get very they overextend because they think they're safe, but we're just so ahead that we're just able to pick. So now the game plan is there's no objectives. I'm just playing around Yunara. Yunara is very strong. Want to play for this mid tower. We want to shift our like our vision towards like sieging. When there are no objectives up, it can be a little confusing to know what to play for, but at this point you can just yeah, play for towers if you are ahead like this. Play for towers, peel for the objective. Look at this redemption. Very fat. We get sieged on, but I barely live. I go around. I see that Udyr is cutting the wave, but we already have a wave mid, and we are looking to end here. I ping. I don't think we can end because Tristana is up. Tristana or Rakan are up in 5 seconds, so go for the top wave. We have 2 grubs. It's also pretty important thing to kind of be aware of. When you have grubs like this, you knowing just like how far you can go, or like how much more you can get as opposed to not having grubs is also like a pretty important skill to like gauge if you can take like an inhib like this, as we did. So we take the inhib, we dip out, and the next objective is going to be Baron in 40 seconds. I think knowing what objective you want to go for just even before you're coming, even before you recall, just so you know where to go, is pretty important. This one is pretty easy. Baron is up in 30 seconds, so we know we want to go there. Very strange, very strange that there's a fight breaking out bot side. I don't even know how, like, yeah, the enemy took the Hex Gate, but it was just like so, it felt like it was so random. They overextend and then they die. That's just sort of what happens in like lower level games. Like, it doesn't make sense that the enemy is there, but yeah, it like throws off your game plan a lot of the times. And like sometimes in solo queue you kind of just have to rotate because, yeah, like I could be setting up Baron side, but if I didn't rotate, we probably still would have gotten the kill, but it was important that I did rotate. I want to look for Tristana here with Zoe because Yunara is pushing bots. I have some pretty good wards here. This ward setup is very helpful when you are sieging, just so you can see where the enemy is rotating on the base. But after Yunara backs, I start to head over to Baron. Our Zoe is so strong. Just is able to hit 2 E's in like 20 seconds. That was like disgusting. And then now that the jungler is dead, we can pretty much just get Baron. I drop a control ward here. And at this point, the game is pretty much won. After we get the Baron. So I'm gonna jump ahead here. After we get the Baron, we don't even get the dragon. We just siege and then we end the game. So that's it for this commentary. I think it was a pretty good Janna commentary, just playing super aggressive, knowing how to play the matchup, and yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and that was the Janna commentary.